Who is this alien that, and what did he do with Kyrie? Because I don't know who this guy is to come and say that, but I hope he just lives those words.
Greetings and salutations and welcome to the Odd Coaches Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Keith Adams, and with me today is my tag team partner, the Don Carnota to my Sergeant Slaughter in the NWA. I'm on a Sarge kick. The icon, the showstopper, the main event, and the reason why we are here, Coach Mike Francis and Coach Bob Slaughter. I was watching some old Bob Slaughter matches with the Cobra Clutch, and that's how that came in. Plus, I remember he was very kind to AJ on the A&E wonderful show. I hope you get to season 2. How are you today, man?
Yeah, man, I'm doing good. I'm doing well. I remember that phone call, man. They FaceTimed me. Told me he asked me could he put AJ in the Cobra Clutch, man.
I love Bob Slaughter.
And then he said, "Are you going to see Bob Backlund and have Bob Backlund put him in the
chicken wing?
Chicken wing.
Chicken wing.
Oh my God,
man. Oh man. Anyway, good times had by all.
Yeah.
Today on this Wind Up Wednesday edition of the Odd Coaches Podcast, we're gonna keep talking about the Nets because the Nets are a problem, y'all.
Woo.
LBJ is marching closer to Kareem. We're going to take a deep dive into Texas basketball. They're making some positive and negative mistakes. And we're going to always talk about the week ahead in college and pro basketball. But, Mike, the Nets are going to be a problem throughout this. Throughout the last month and a half, the Nets have ridden a hot hand. Kyrie's balling. Kevin Durant's balling. But now they're winning when guys aren't playing their best. So I told you last week to watch them play New Orleans. And on a side note, Zion's hurt. He's out for 2 weeks. And I'm a jinx. And stop laughing. But Kyrie and Kevin Durant didn't have their best games. But yet they're starting to make winning habits and winning decisions. And Kyrie said something that caused this whole segment to start. Kyrie said, and I quote, "Basketball is just a very simple art form. So if I don't bring all my extra distractions or anything that I'm going through mentally into the game, then I feel like we're going to have a great chance to win every ball game." My partner says week after week after week, he don't do distractions. Mike, Jacque Vaughn's got to be coach of the year. What are you thinking about the Nets when Kyrie says that?
First, I had to be resuscitated because I can't believe he said it. I almost passed out. Number one. Number two, who is this alien that, and what did he do with Kyrie? Because I don't know who this guy is to come and say that, but I hope he just lives those words. And like you say, I've always said it's one thing that can kill your team, and that's distractions.
Yes, indeed.
You know how I am. I don't do distractions. And if Jacque Vaughn makes this work, he should not be coach of the year. He actually should get a Nobel Peace Prize.
I agree. So Jacque Vaughn has the Nets playing with a mental toughness that they didn't have under Steve Nash. And Jacque Vaughn said in the interview after the Nets game, Kyrie just has a way of embracing the moment no matter what happened previously. And for Kevin Durant to kick the ball out to him, and Kevin had an ISO at the elbow, it shows how they've grown together. In other words, Kevin Durant had an opportunity to take a game-winning shot, but he made the proper basketball play. And that's dangerous when professionals aren't playing hero ball, as I watched a lot of college and high school ball this past week. To end this piece, Kyrie said he is working on his mental approach to the game over the last year, and Durant believes that that's a key of why Irving can still come up big no matter how much he has struggled. Man, I tell you what, league, the more boring the Nets become, the more dangerous they become. So if Kyrie is not a distraction and they're just worried about basketball, man, good luck, because notice I didn't even mention Ben Simmons in any of that, and neither did they. Any final thoughts on the Nets before we move on to LBJ?
I'm trying to clear out my eyes and make sure I'm reading this right. Put my glasses on. Kyrie said what?
Kyrie said, man, I'm working on my mental approach, and KD and him have built a trust, and
Okay.
they've locked in the Jock Bond. And as we said last week, they're talking about defense.
Yeah.
Professional basketball players are talking about locking in defensively and getting rebounds.
And they
And
coach
Aaron.
and all that. They talking about having a coach now. And boy, 2 years later, but hey, I guess late is better than never.
All right. Well, speaking of late, better than never, LeBron's chase. Mike, at the time of this taping, LeBron needs less than 500 points to pass Kareem for the all-time scoring mark of 38,397 points. Kareem has held this record since April 5th, 1984. Wow. Nearly 9 months to the day before James was born. Okay. Unlike Kareem, who has a signature sky hook, LeBron was joking around saying it's hard to pick a move from his repertoire. So I kind of wanted to have a joke with you with that. Dirk's got the one-legged jump shot. Michael has the fadeaway. Kareem has a sky hook. Olajuwon has the dream shake. If you're thinking about LeBron, what are you thinking about in terms of a signature if you did a statue of?
That turnaround.
You think that turnaround? Because I'm thinking of the dunk, the fast break, cock back.
I think the turnaround with the knee out like that, that's one thing about him that he always had. That turnaround with the high knee. That's about it. Or the tomahawk dunk with the that's Jordan was like that. He's like that. I can see that.
All right. So moving forward, let's get back on the court. James got 2 more years left on his contract with the Lakers, and he's repeatedly expressed his hope that the Lakers can find a way to be more competitive. But he also continues to talk about wanting to be on the floor with Bronny.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how good Bronny is. And again, this is a high school kid we're talking about. And one prominent coach let me know, because again, we're in the business. If his last name was Smith, he'd be an average guy. That's what the coach told me. He's all right, but slow down. I don't think you've looked at any of this, but any thoughts about LeBron openly saying that he wants to either play with or play against Ronnie James, similar to the Ken Griffey Sr. Jr. thing? Any thoughts?
No, I think he is still young. You know what I mean? Like, he got a way to go, but he's improving all the time. He's showing something new all the time. Now, NBA wise, I don't know. I don't know what he's doing is more than any other kid in his class. I see, they hype up all the videos and stuff, but I don't think he's head and shoulders above everyone else or that dominant to where we should start thinking about him jumping straight to the league or something like that. He's definitely not there yet. First of all, he's only 6'3.5", maybe. You know what I mean? He's not 6'9" like his dad, so he's going to struggle.
Yeah, I'm curious to see where he goes to school, because my guess,
I think Ohio State,
is that he'll go to school, have some structure. I don't think he'll do the G League or overtime elite route or whatever like that, and get a little quiet, because I think my love affair with quiet. He needs a little quiet, needs some development.
Never.
And
quiet.
It's just a lot of noise, man. It's just a lot of noise. So.
That's Bronny James. He ain't gonna be quiet, or they ain't gonna let him be quiet.
Yeah, but once you get to a program like the late great John Thompson, he insulated Allen and so forth. But we're in a different day now. I know.
Yeah, JT gone. Big John gone.
Yeah.
Big John go to drug dealer's house until you stay away from the kid.
So
that ain't happening now.
You know what? I think that's a good time to end this segment, because that is the wake-up call sometimes I need. Like, man, can y'all take care of the kids? Can y'all protect them? Nope. And we'll be right back on the Odd Coaches Podcast.
The reviews are in for Dr. Keith Adams' book, Finding the Balance, My Personal Journey to Academic and Athletic Success. College professor and student athlete academic expert Dr. Lisa Rubin said, "There is nothing out there like this book, so I do hope people will pay attention and give it a read." Former George Mason standout Folarin Campbell said, "Consider this book an opportunity to work directly with Dr. Adams, just like I did. I assure you that there will be something you can take away that will be useful to you throughout your personal journey." Ryan Waite, a recent college graduate who is a software engineer, said, "I like how the book is based on research, which makes it good for general students as well as student athletes." The book serves as both a memoir to Dr. Adams' 30-year academic and athletic career, as well as an instructional guide to assist student athletes, parents, coaches, teachers, and administrators navigate through the challenges of finding a better balance between academic and athletic success. The book includes over 15 personal stories and anecdotes from Dr. Adams, along with numerous former players and colleagues from a variety of sports and endeavors. You can order your copy at www.ckasaveproject.org. From the main page, simply click CKA Save Project Services and order the Find the Balance book. For more information, contact Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the iCoaches Podcast in segment 2. We're going to talk about the University of Texas, and I want my partner to have his admin hat on throughout this conversation. You are an AD, you are a school president, and we're going to critique what has happened at the University of Texas. So Texas men's basketball coach Chris Beard was fired last week, less than 1 month after the school suspended him without pay following his arrest on a domestic family violence charge. Chris Beard was fired with cause, which means Texas will not, I repeat, will not pay the rest of his salary. Associate head coach Rodney Terry, who has been acting head coach since Beard's suspension, will remain in charge the rest of the season. So, Mike, here's what the athletic director said, and I want to get your thoughts on what the athletic director said after I tell you. So, Longhorns athletic director Chris Del Conte released a statement last week announcing his decision. He said the University of Texas has parted ways with Chris Beard. This has been a difficult situation that we've been diligently working through. Today, I informed Mr. Beard of our decision to terminate him effective immediately. Mike, what do you think about firing Chris Beard in January prior to the police investigation being completed?
Maybe they found something out. You know how it is. University can hire a private detective and see what's going on. And if there were pictures or something of the woman, like somebody called the police. It ain't just happened. The police didn't show up and say, "Oh, we think you did this." Somebody called the police. There was an incident or something. So it must have been enough for them to act on what they did. Plus, they just want to get away from it. It's Texas. The University of Texas don't want this bad news. You got to go, bro. You can't do it. What we say earlier about Kyrie and KD.
No distractions. No distractions. So the legal department, the university's vice president of legal affairs, Jim Davis, wrote in a letter to Beard's attorney, Perry Minton, that Beard engaged in quote, unacceptable behavior that makes him unfit to serve as head coach of our university. Whether prosecutors continue with the case does not determine whether Beard engaged in conduct unbecoming of the school. So here's what happened, fans, in case you have not kept up with the case. Beard was arrested on the morning of December 12th after his fiancee, Randy True, told officers he choked her from behind, bit her, and hit her when the two got into an argument. True released a statement on December 23rd in which she denied telling police Beard choked her. Quote, "Chris did not strangle me, and I told law enforcement that evening. Chris has stated he was acting in self-defense, and I do not refute that. I do not believe Chris was trying to intentionally harm me in any way." True's statement did not address why she made the emergency call or other details of the police report, such as bite marks and abrasion on her face, and telling officers she could not breathe for about 5 seconds. Mike, any thoughts on that before we move on to the DA?
Man, what did she expect to happen? What do they both expect to happen? I'm surprised it took this long after hearing that, really.
Okay, so the DA, The Travis County District Attorney's Office released a statement to ESPN's Myron Metcalf hours before Beard was fired. Quote, "The matter is still under review, and our prosecutors are evaluating all of the evidence, including recent statements and all of the evidence collected by law enforcement. Our officers take all the allegations of domestic violence seriously. In
Right.
each case, we are committed to working through the unique challenges presented." So let me tell you about due process. Minton said in a statement that Beard is crushed by the news and claimed that the university went ahead with the firing without asking Beard or True any questions. Again, you have a contract, and the contract was guaranteed unless you were fired for cause. And
Right.
if you fired him for cause and you didn't talk to the victim, do we have a case? So let me continue on with this. I am concerned that the University of Texas has made a terrible decision against the interest of the university based on Twitter feeds and editorials and not the facts concerning a truly innocent man. The university has violated their agreement with the coach, and we are devastated. Minton also said that the coach is innocent and pointed to True's statement in a letter sent to the university in which Minton pressed the school board to keep Beard. Quote, "Coach Beard has not done anything to violate any provision of his contract with the University of Texas."
Pay
The
that
letter,
man his money.
the letter also said that Dale Conte, who was the AD, quote, "has repeatedly reported to our team that he is certain that Chris Beard did nothing wrong and is innocent." So if he has a text message from Chris Beard, from Dale Conte that says anything like that, we've got a problem legally in terms of the contract.
Mhm.
So, Mike, with that added information, did Texas act too soon?
I think they acted in the wrong time. I don't know if too soon is the question, but maybe the wrong time. I think they should have acted earlier, as soon as this came out. That's what I think. And if not, now you just gotta let it rock.
Yes. So, as I have said repeatedly, not only to you publicly and privately to our audience, I am a fan of suspend, not remove. So during this suspension, we are talking about the removal process and how to go through this removal process, because I agree with you, Mike. He can't come back,
No.
but we've signed this guy to a contract that's our fault, that man is fully guaranteed.
Mhm.
So we can go through the process of saying, hey, what's the buyout? What's this? What's that? We can write a letter in his file that says, we've just agreed that for the
Hey,
interest of both
yeah.
parties, that blah, blah. But they fired him in January. And I know, as a former AD, all the sidebar conversations we have on text.
Mm.
I know you, as a coach, have had many a sidebar conversation that can be traced. And if it's in a court of law,
Yes,
oh
sir.
boy, we got a
Yeah.
problem.
Yes,
So
sir.
if even one of those texts say, hey, Chris, we're good. And then you publicly, that's why I went to the public statements first. And then what happens in the dark comes out in the light. I think Texas has themselves a problem, because they're the state university. And if they
Oh.
didn't follow their own contract policy,
Mhm.
and if it is true that they didn't talk to the victim and they just went off whatever, yeah, this is going to be something we're going to follow. So now, Mike, you're not the AD of Texas. You're not the administration of Texas. You're another school.
Mhm.
Will Chris Beard get another Power 5 job? So let me tell you, Chris Beard has been the head coach of Texas since 2021 after spending 5 seasons at Big 12 rival Texas Tech. In his lone full season, he went 22-12 before losing in the second round of the NCAA tournament. Texas was off to a 7-1 start, and if I'm not mistaken, they are still ranked in the top 10 in the nation. Beard was in the second season of a fully guaranteed 7-year contract, and his contract includes a provision under which he can be fired for cause or for conduct that includes being charged with a felony. So now it's all up to the lawyers to find out. But if Texas thinks that they're going to get away with not a dollar, somebody needs to call Kevin Ollie and say, hey, man, remember UConn tried to do that to you? And what happened with him? He got his money.
Mhm.
So this should be interesting. Any final thoughts on Texas basketball? And I don't know, this is not going to be a weekly segment, but teams keep doing things that we got to break down how they do business. Any final words, brother?
The call was for a riot. So like a neighbor called, all this noise and all this stuff going on, and it don't sound like, I don't know. I'm not gonna say what it sounds like, but yeah, I feel that they've either reacted too late, should have reacted earlier, especially if she if she filed that report a while ago. Why did Texas wait so long?
Yeah.
Because now you've stepped in, like you said, you stepped into where someone may have texted him and told him he was fine. Like, yeah.
NFL found a lot of email.
Yeah.
And you see what happened with that? There's
Yeah. People go.
Discovery means discover.
Yeah.
And if this
People
goes
go.
to court and he says, I want discovery,
Mhm.
whoa, our good friend Jake says, stay out of court.
Yeah.
Stay out of court. Stay
And
out of court.
I think that they opened themselves up to a lawsuit, and I smell a serious settlement coming. And she's a good volleyball coach.
Oh, I didn't see you have that background.
Yeah, she's a good volleyball coach. She won Coach of the Year in 2020. Like she was like 58-11 over her first 2 years in some prep school.
So,
but I couldn't date no woman named Randy anyway.
Okay, see, why would you hire Chris Beard?
You asked me. I ain't no woman with no Randy.
Look, I can't say a thing because I'm making bets based on flight logs and jet lag. So what can I say? But would you hire Chris Beard? Because he's obviously your coach.
Oh no.
Somebody's gonna hire this dude.
No.
Hey, if the police says nothing happened, then why wouldn't you hire?
Not a Power 5 school.
You don't think so?
No, not now. He got to go somewhere else first, then work his way back. Because
he got to go Southern Miss and then come back.
Everybody goes Southern Miss. That's the next step. Or he got to go to Central Florida, or he got to go to somewhere in the group.
Some directional school.
Yeah, he got to go to some directional school, Southwestern, Northeastern, something like that, and then work his way. He work his way back to Eastern Carolina, something like that, and then work his way back to the big schools.
All right, fans. Well, when we get back, we will talk about the week ahead in college and pro basketball on the iCoaches podcast.
There is an old business adage that says, what gets measured and monitored gets done. It is also fact that deadlines spur action. That is what the CKA Save Project's academic monitoring service can do for student athletes. Measure and monitor their academic progress to improve their grades. Our academic monitoring services provide ongoing academic support for student athletes for a designated period of time. Our academic success coaches work with student athletes on time management and organizational skills, along with improving their ability to self-advocate. Every few weeks, our academic success coaches meet with student athletes to assess their academic progress as well as provide ongoing academic advising. If needed, student athletes have access to CKA Learning Specialists who provide virtual core subject academic support for student athletes. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free virtual consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the iCoaches podcast. And in segment 3, we're going to talk about the week ahead in professional basketball. And my partner is going to get me in trouble one day. All right, NBA top 5. Boston's still rolling, Mike. Brooklyn's 2, and they might be 1 within a week because they're just zipping and just beating people. Denver's 3, Memphis is 4, Milwaukee's 5. Notice New Orleans is gone because Zion's hurt and he's out for 2 weeks. And shut up. And I'm getting text messages from everybody saying Mike might win, and I'm hoping for a push now because we did a great breakdown of Zion, and then like that day he's out 2 weeks. 8.5. Find out how many games Zion has played this season and get that to me. Fans, 0.5 is in front of us now. We love him dearly. Anyway, Milwaukee is 5. Teams to watch. Nets, keep watching the Nets and keep watching the Nuggets if you are in strictly for entertainment purposes only. Games of the week, Friday, January 13th,
Amen.
Denver versus the Clippers. Again, Denver's winning games and it's January. Anytime I get to make fun of the Clippers and their and all of their stars, I kind of want to take advantage of it. I haven't seen playoff P play in some time. Tell me, son. Huh? Zion has played 29 games as of this taping.
Out of
Out of how many? 0.5. How many games have been played so far by New Orleans? While 0.5, the fastest intern is looking that up. Saturday, January 14th, the Bucks versus the Heat. Now, Giannis just had a streak of double-digit games stopped. So first he puts up 50 against the Wizards, and then he can't score 10 against somebody.
huh?
All right. So the Nets have played 40 games this year, Mike. So we're halfway through, and if this is going to rights,
So like
then
it might be 60 games.
might be 60. Mike, he ain't gonna make it. It's gonna be a push. Something else is gonna happen. Come on, Zion, let's get that rest. Anyway, we're gonna move on to college
Damn.
basketball. Number 1 is Purdue. But I even watch Purdue. I need to see them. I just haven't got to them yet.
No, I ain't
Houston's number 2.
I can't say that.
Kansas is number 3. Arizona will not be number 4 because they just lost to Washington State. And
Lost too.
I'm really mad at that.
Man, lost.
Believe me, I had an 11 play parlay, and let's just say 10 teams won, and Arizona was 11. And I got Texas as 5 because, hey, Texas is good.
Your
Okay.
boy would have been mad. Your boy, that should been. It might have been on Scott Van Pelt's show last night.
Man,
Bad beat.
they got whipped by like Washington State. So teams to watch. TCU's pretty good this year. I saw them play yesterday and they lost, but they're pretty good. Okay. Providence. Ed Cooley's got them going. I saw Xavier. Xavier's tough.
Yeah, Xavier is pretty good. I did catch a little bit of their game. UCLA is pretty good too.
Yeah, Charleston's winning games. UNCW. So
Yeah,
Charleston and
yeah.
UNCW will be
Dang.
playing each other.
Yeah.
And again, we pay attention to mid-majors because a lot of our coaching buddies are mid-major coaches. So we kind of, when you see these guys go from team to team, we're like, that guy's good, or Oral Roberts is winning games right now. Gonzaga's on the come up again, and I didn't even know they were Division I, but Utah Valley has won like 10 games in a row. Okay, so I gotta like peek at Utah Valley.
Who they beat?
I have no idea, but they've won like 10 games in a row. So Mike, put Utah Valley.
No,
on
they
your
ain't on my list. They ain't on my list.
Hey, there's going to be a Wednesday that you scroll that phone and you're going to see a game, Utah Valley and somebody. You're going to say, hey, Adam mentioned Utah. Let me put 10 down on Utah Valley.
Let me tell you right now. If you catch me betting on Utah Valley, man, call them folks for me.
You need to have a meeting.
Yeah, call them folks. We need an intervention.
Utah Valley.
I need an intervention, my guy.
All right. Games of the week, Friday, January 13th, Michigan State versus Illinois. Illinois is good, but they keep losing games that they probably should. And Illinois might be that team in the tournament that's a 8, 9, or 10 seed that is really good and underperformed and then lock in like late in the year. So I want to see them, and I always like watching Izzo's teams play. And then Saturday, January 14th, Texas Tech plays Texas in what should have been a Chris Beard like return game or something is now, can Texas keep winning game?
You said it should have been a Chris Beard return game.
Yeah, it should have been.
Stop.
Okay. Only because he coached there.
Mhm.
So, and I think didn't they make it to the Final Four one year? And then he got the Texas job or something like that? Or didn't Texas Tech like make it to the title game? The Texas Tech, hey, 0.5. The Texas Tech make it to the NCAA title
Yes,
game.
they did.
Then,
man.
yeah.
Yes, they did. They did.
Okay.
But
Again,
come
my
on,
my intern's a little slow, so
they did, but we ain't worried about him, man.
okay. Yeah, that's why he's gonna get another job, by the way, at a directional school. But Texas State,
Texas.
UTEP, Texas El Paso.
Yeah, he'll get that joint. I mean, he might end up with Turlington or
All right.
something like that.
So in the women's game, again,
Southwest New Mexico or something.
the women's game is a little more boring than the men's game, and that's not uneventful. That means, hey, I can kind of predict what I'm going to see, so we're kind of digging in. Number one is South Carolina. Batten down the hatches if you're going to beat them. So you're going to hear that every week. That's what I mean by boring. Boring wins more than it loses. Number two, Stanford. Again, boring.
Mhm.
3, Ohio State. They're boring. They're going to just beat you and leave. And these teams, Mike, are beating people up. These games are not even close. Number 4 is Indiana. So I'm looking forward to watching Indiana and Ohio State play. And number 5, Notre Dame. ACC basketball is really, really good this year. ACC women's basketball is like 5 or 6 teams that are really good.
Yes, they are.
Women's basketball is really good.
Yep.
SEC women's basketball is really, really good.
Nah,
So
that's
boring. It's just, I know every night I'm going to see a good game.
mhm.
So I'm not worried about, the massive upsets. So here's some teams to watch to follow women's basketball. Let's take a peek at Duke. Let's take a peek at Texas, Ohio State, Middle Tennessee State University. That might be a team in the future for Chris Beard, but they're on a nice winning streak.
Middle Tennessee.
Directional schools. Cleveland State's still doing very well.
He got to stay away from them though.
No, this is women's side.
Yeah.
Columbia and Penn are doing well, so I'm going to take a look at when they play. Stanford again, LSU. I don't like the coach, but she's can coach her tail off. South Carolina, what Dawn Staley's doing needs to continually to be promoted because South Carolina wasn't. I can't even say they were an afterthought.
Mhm.
They weren't even a thought, and now they got sellouts. And Dawn plays everybody. I even think she played South Dakota State at South Dakota State. That's the kind of booking she's doing to just, we used to say when we were at Springbrook, we were on tour. And, we're going to help out all of Montgomery County and give you sellouts and enjoy this ride.
Mhm.
Because it's not going to always be this way. So she's taking women's basketball on tour, and man, she's doing great. Hey,
Another
JM,
thing that
go
she's
ahead.
doing that people don't understand too is this also is recruiting.
Oh, yes.
People who aren't used to seeing them play, or you don't know anything about South Carolina, and you go into these towns, who knows when a girl is going to be that good out of that area? And she saw South Carolina play, and they can start with that. Hey, you see, I bring my team. Your family can see you play in your hometown. Like that's the other piece that people don't understand. This recruiting. I'm gonna play you. We're gonna play. I want you to know who I am. I want you to know our name. Like I used to tell my coaches, I just need your shirt. I need that polo in that gym.
Yes.
Even if you're not recruiting nobody, go spend an hour and a half in the gym so everybody can walk by and look at your shirt and say, "Man, that's Essex." Oh,
yes.
Essex recruiting. Oh, that's Essex.
And that was my gimmick. You know that. When I was at Hood College, I went everywhere I could. And one of the things that we used to do at Hood, and I think you did a little bit at Essex, is whoever we recruited out of area, we tried to book a game within the time that they were in our program near them, whether it was a preseason tip-off tournament, a holiday tournament, or an independent game. It was something we really tried to focus on.
Mhm.
So James Madison's women are doing well, and Gonzaga's women. So game of the week, Friday the 13th, Stanford women's playing UCLA. The funny thing, Mike, is they're playing on a network I've never seen before. They're playing on the Pac-12 network. Have you ever seen the Pac-12 network on any cable system?
They have a Pac-12 network. I'm dead serious. I know
they do have a Pac-12 network.
I know the Big Ten network,
and they have a doubleheader that night.
SEC network, And the ACC, they had pilot television long time ago. ACC might have been the version,
Jefferson Pilot Productions, yes.
right?
On Saturday, like afternoon.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. I don't remember the commentator. I think Tim
Yes,
Brandt
sir.
might have been one of the commentators.
Yes, sir.
All right, and
I remember the
Saturday.
call because they made the call about Michael Jordan. And Michael Jordan, when he did the don't, you remember that?
Yes.
Yeah,
So Saturday the 14th, Kansas is playing Oklahoma. I had a chance to go see Oklahoma women play about 10 years ago. They have a great atmosphere. But Mike, to close out, this is not even in your notes. This came across my desk, and shout out to Point Five for bringing it up to Mike. 5 Concordia University of Chicago players were hospitalized after a workout, and they've had 2 games postponed. So let me set the tone for you and our fans. 5 Concordia University Chicago men's basketball players were hospitalized between January 2nd and 4th, days after the players were put through a grueling December 31st practice. And emails from the school sent to the players and parents on Thursdays read as follows, according to news reports. Quote, amid the already stressful and exhausting week, Saturday's practice represented a particularly high intensity collegiate level circuit training. A source told the news that players were suffering from conditions like lactic acidosis, and you usually don't see that kind of stuff in people other than marathon runners and soccer players. Now, here's the big deal, Mike. As for why the players were put through the practice, Concordia University Chicago athletic director Pete Nahn said, quote, it has been alleged by some that the intensity and difficulty of Saturday's practice was a direct consequence of the broken curfew earlier in the week. They played a pair of games in California on December 28th and 29th against California Lutheran and Whittier College. Both games ended in defeat, but they're still 8-2. The athletic director also wrote, our athletics program has a zero tolerance for harassment or retaliatory actions of any kind. And yeah, this is not good, but I had to tell you this story because, Mike, there have been times as coaches that sometimes we didn't need the balls to practice to send a message of displeasure.
Yes, sir.
So we hope the players are fine. Let's get that out of the way. The coach has been suspended. Okay. So there's 2 ways we could go with this conversation, Mike. One, what did you do when your players violated team conduct? And 2, what's the worst you've ever done without losing your job in terms of that? And yes, I am happy to share because you've heard some of these stories from the players themselves.
Ooh.
Because this dude must have done nothing that I've ever done has caused hospitalization. So whatever it was, man, that's not good. That's not good at all.
I've had 1 or 2 practices where we ran.
We didn't need the balls to practice.
We didn't need the balls at all.
See how I'm saving you?
We put trash cans in the corners. That's yeah.
All right. So quick story, 2 quick ones. We're taking our players from Hood College to Vegas. And we're giving them the riot act. We're like, all right, don't do this, don't do that, whatever. When we get there, and
Vegas.
we played a holiday tournament in Vegas. And you know TD. TD has a presence. Tom Dickman, one of the finest people I know, forget basketball, came on and told the players in no certain terms, hey, man, we're going on a business trip and blah, 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 and whatever. To Vegas. The school president, Dr. Ron Volpe, awesome guy, comes on the bus and says, double down on 10 and back. Have a good time. And we're all like, what in the holiness of thou? We just spent 10 minutes putting it on them. So now they got in their pocket. Dr. Volpe said, so, anyway, it's still a funny story.
Oh my God. Yo, I would not. Hey, coach couldn't tell me shit if the president told me he can't.
He's a wonderful man.
That's who the coach's boss is.
Yes. So I'm
Coach,
still.
I broke curfew, but I'm just listening to the doctor.
No, nothing happened. Everybody was fine.
That you know of. That you know of.
Because we don't look for that, especially in college.
Exactly.
Now, in high school, my players will always talk about the Adams flu. What is the Adams flu, mind you? It means you're not playing. That's your punishment. Okay? You're not playing. You want to play. Now, we can discipline in-house, though. So one time, young Mr. Campbell had the Adams flu, and I said, you better come to the game with some orange juice and cheer like heck. And when the media asked why he didn't play, all the players was like, he's not feeling well, but he's such a great teammate that he wanted to come out and support, and he'll be fine tomorrow. And, so sure enough, somebody didn't want to go to class on time or so, whatever it was. He'll know more than me. But no, I've never punished to the point of hospitalization. Don't do that.
Man, we beat a team by 20 who we should have beat by 50. And as soon as the bus got back to the school.
Oh, no, don't tell me you practice. Some guys do that.
No, I ain't practice. I ran them. We ran stairs. As soon as we got out the bus, we went out the bus, drop your stuff in the locker room, put your practice gear on. Let's go. I ain't got my practice. I don't care. Let's go. Tell your parents come get you in an hour.
We won't be doing any of that in 2023. So on behalf of my tag team partner, Coach Mike Francis, I'm Dr. Keith Adams, saying thank you for listening and or watching the iCoaches podcast. And we will see you on the sidelines. Till next time, take care and don't break curfew. See you on the other side.
The iCoaches podcast is sponsored by the CKA Save Project. The CKA Save Project is an industry leader in providing student-athlete academic and athletic support. From assessing student-athletes' academic and athletic skills, to measuring and monitoring student-athlete academic progress, to improving student-athlete time management and organizational skills, the CKA Save Project provides wraparound services for student-athletes from middle school through college. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by emailing cka@ckasaveproject.org. We hope you enjoyed today's show. The iCoaches podcast drops new episodes every Tuesday through Friday on most weeks. Make sure you subscribe to the iCoaches podcast on Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow the iCoaches podcast on Twitter and Instagram at iCoaches. Follow Dr. Adams on Twitter and Instagram at CKA Save Project. In addition, follow Coach Mike Francis on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Franchise, spelled Coach FRANCHIZE. For more information about the CKA Save Project, please visit them on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org. See you next time on the iCoaches podcast.